Hi, this is Grant Kempster from Highlander Heart, and you are about to find out about the greatest moments in the Highlander Saga. There are so many good moments in the first Highlander movie, but I guess for me what really does it is the car park scene. It's the personification of the juxtaposition of old and new. You know, sword fights, modern day car park, just a fantastic moment and a real kind of wake up call to kind of like, oh, right, that's the kind of movie this is. Like, what kind of movie is it? Okay, I don't know. I'll stick around and find out. But I think that car park sequence really is such a great opener for the franchise as a whole. Highlander 2 has many of, I think, some of the greatest moments in the Highlander Saga. And I know that's controversial. Anyone who watches the channel on YouTube or kind of knows me from the Facebook group will know I'm a bit of a Highlander 2 sympathizer. You know, just look at the production value of that movie. Every scene and moment just looks beautiful. It gives us some really great moments. If I had to pick one, it is undoubtedly Connor walking out of the flames, a young man again. That moment is it's just such an amazing sequence, irrespective of how awful it sits in the canon. It's such a great moment. I'll be honest, Highlander 3 doesn't really give me any amazing moments, unfortunately, but moving forward to Highlander Endgame, that's where I think things start to get better. I'm slightly biased purely because I was there for this scene. The sequence in the graveyard in Highlander Endgame was just such a great moment because I know within the concept of within the confines of the movie, we've already seen him in a flashback with Adrian, playing Duncan with a ponytail and things like that again. So we have already sort of seen them again together, but that graveyard scene where they finally meet again, and I can tell you, standing there watching them shoot that moment was really something. But I think all of that aside, it's still a great moment in the Highlander Saga, finally seeing after 6 odd years, our two Highlanders back together. And, that's just, it's a fantastic moment. The series has some fantastic moments, 100%. I almost like too many to choose from, but if I had to, and I will, again, no surprise to anybody who watches the channel, Comes a Horseman and Revelations are my favorite episodes, and that scene with Mythos and Duncan, where Duncan confronts him about his past, really is everything. And it's everything about the series as well, because it shows you how, immortality works in such a way that somebody can do a 360 from being a murdering rapist to being a character that we all really care about and love. It's a fantastically acted scene as well. But I think it really sums up the series as a whole and the franchise as a whole. And when it comes to the series, 100%, that is my defining moment. I think there's some good moments from some of the animation, but, really, I'd probably go with, Highlander animated series, the bit with Connor, just because it's the bit with Connor, even though it's incredibly tenuous as to how canonical that kind of moment is. And from the anime movie, God, the guy with the chainsaw, that whole sequence is just batshit crazy and fun. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyway, have fun tonight, guys. Sorry I couldn't join you. I will be fast asleep because I'm over 50 now and get very tired. Cheers.
How have you been?
Pretty good.
And are you the chosen one with a sword?
No, this isn't Excalibur or King Arthur.
Damn it.
Wrong franchise, shithead. People listening, he called him a shithead. Ooh.
I call your dog shithead.
All right, let's get Nina Tucker.
I'm quoting the jerk.
Mm-hmm. Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, joy.
Mm-hmm. The jerk shithead. Nina Tucker's from anime.
Okay, perfect. I'm quoting a great comedy.
Oh no.
Oh man, so I just figured, there's so many great moments of the Connor and Duncan MacLeod saga. The fact that they're cousins, but they call each other brothers, like as a term of endearment. And I mean, it's just been so fun that again, the show can be hit anywhere, Prime, Tubi, and it just was so much fun revisiting. Just instead of just seeing glimpses of it on Sci-Fi Channel and what have you, it's just like, yeah, this show rocked. It's just
definitely. I still got to watch that shit. I don't know. I'm behind on everything.
I mean, just we've talked about the villains before and all that jazz, but I mean, they had probably some of the best one-off villains too. And once they got past the first season, they were like, "Hey, we can actually do something more than just they're misogynist or about to assault someone." And it's like, no, they can be guys who think they're misunderstood. Having a guy who thinks he's a vampire going around doing killings, that was fun. Just everyone's got their favorite episodes, and I think it's less divisive than Star Trek or X-Files, where the show really did know what it wanted to be. It just, after that first season, they said, let's have more serialized kind of storylines. Let's have there be a 2 arc where they go after this villain, and then a whole different arc with these group of guys who are trying to take down, and just having to explain the rules of the game again. And it's like, because it already gotten muddied. It's like, okay, they fight, but they only are after each other. Anyone else is just in their way.
And even Adrian Paul talked about, and I talked to him on Twitter too. I talked to him he talked about how he was filming the show, and during one of the seasons, he actually asked for 2 weeks off. And they gave it to him because he was I think this was like middle of the series, right? Season 3, give or take. And he was feeling, or it might have been towards the end, and he was feeling so bogged down and just couldn't creatively think or work that he requested 2 weeks off. So just explore and shit and find himself again. And he said when he did that, it really helped him refocus and stuff. And since he had enough pull with the show and the directors, they gave him the okay to take a break. So yeah. And then my conversation with him was, I asked him on Twitter if would the quickening nullify Dracula, since they're both immortal. Like if an immortal took Dracula's
he has
head,
as much as say. He was there, helping create the character.
Yeah, and he's like, hell yeah. And I'm like, this sounds right. And I'm thinking about like, huh. And then
this is like if you were to ask Stallone about Rocky or Rambo or just anything. It's just like, hey, I heard it from the beast's mouth,
Yeah, for real. It's so interesting because I was thinking like there's so many crossovers that Highlander could work with and wouldn't work with.
Yeah.
Like the most underrated one, the Witchblade, Dracula, obviously, because they're the most basic layouts ever. If you just go with the basic layouts for Highlander and Dracula, you can have an easy one-off story with them. And then I was thinking, like, Highlander versus Wolverine, that would be stupid as hell because you can't cut his head off. This is fucking adamantium. Sword is just breaking shit.
And that's just it, too. It is kind of
and he would just get electrocuted every fucking time. He's so dumb. He'd be a fucking smoldering corpse every time.
Jeez.
There can be only one, Bob, and then cuts their head off.
I will say there are some good fights in the in-game movie. It's just the main issue is the Watchers are very confusingly introduced.
Dude, my my biggest thing with Endgame is the JVC sign. Why the fuck is it blurred?
Oh man.
That thing irritates the shit out of me every time I watch it. I'm like, why are you blurred? Did they not get the copyright for this or something?
I think it was how they were digitally redoing it, and someone thought, "Let's do that. It looks better." It was like, it doesn't look better.
It looks bad. It's like it makes it look like they didn't have permission to show the sign. I could understand. I could understand if it was too bright. That's understandable. That'll fuck with the lighting. But you can but for 2000, you could easily just tone that down a little bit.
I agree.
And make it work. But if they're just like, oh, we can't show it because we don't have permission, that'd be fucking funny as hell. Man, imagine that. Like finding out like 24 years, like, oh yeah, we didn't.
And you think they would know by now? A shotgun's not going to do much to these guys. They're going to just keep getting back up.
Yeah, but it slows them the hell down. That's what happened with the original ending for Universal Soldier.
Yeah,
I
true.
love that ending. God, it was so dark. Oh.
Similar kind of cult universe where everybody's seen it somehow.
Yes,
this is like it's critic proof and morbid curiosity. I do like the villain James Corden. He's just so in your face. You think he's gonna be a cool guy, and then he just has that smirk, and you're like, oh fuck, he's gonna kill someone. And yeah, it's just so much to like, and I just like how the hunters, simple name, they're renegade watchers. The watchers are just trying to keep the peace and kind of be Karens, if you will. They want to inflict rules upon the watchers or the Highlanders, but then they come into the thing and it's just like, hey, you can't do that. And the watchers are just like, it's just because Horton spend too much time around the actual Kurgan, he's like, I want to exterminate all of them. That's all they are. And he loves his job too much.
And I got Kurgan's Origins comic on my channel, so that's fun.
You heard it from him, guys. Check out his fan stuff. And
I didn't even know there was a comic origin for Kurgan. I was so surprised.
I had heard about it. I just hadn't picked it up. And I gotta say, I love when so this is not meant to be a hot take at all. We all associate certain characters, like if you mention Star Trek, people are either gonna go Captain Kirk or Data or Worf. I always associated Mythos the most. Just Peter Wingfield has that. Is he a good guy or bad guy? Kind of.
Yeah, I mentioned that in my thread. He comes off like not knowing his full history from me, like body
he's
language.
He's a war criminal, practically. Yeah.
He seems more like a prick, but he's very secretive and shit.
He's just literally been stabbed in the back so many times. He just doesn't want to go down that road again, and he's not proud of having been associated with the Four Horsemen.
Oh wow.
But I love how he reveals how down the road, I want to say season 4-ish, he reveals just a very just very casually, he just says, and by the way, I trained with Ramirez, Sean Connery's character, for the first 2 movies. I was like, see, that's awesome. And I love how he becomes best friends with Joe, the old guy who's, a musician by night, and trying to keep him safe and actually understand how this works. And the camera work actually does remind me a bit of Homicide, just that whole just raw in the moment kind of feeling, and montages that work. And but I love how Methos loses his sword and he beats up some henchmen of some of the hunters that are trying to kill him and not abide by the game, and he's trying to keep Joe alive, and then he's like out of bullets, and so then they're just trying to figure out, but they're bonding as friends also during it. Almost becomes 48 hours kind of buddy formula after a while. It's
Oh wow.
very fun.
Let's see.
So like you, I had the 2004, the second recut of Highlander 2 on DVD, and it is one of those. It's like, see, some broken equipment you can fix. Like
Yeah, I still need to rewatch a lot of them to get a full.
I liked how they took out just some of the carnage that just didn't work, and it's not that it was gross or anything. It was just, let's wrap it up. Let's make it more neat. Let's change the coloring of the shield. So just fuck around with it a little more, so it's not just getting people just to nitpick more.
Yeah, I did like the alien origin layout until that was cut.
And see, a lot of people have issues with it, but see, the thing is, in the first movie script, they claimed they were aliens. They just didn't use it. So I would have been fine with that, honestly. I would have just, it's just the whole katana going around just randomly killing people just for no reason. And you're just like,
yeah, like I remember him, and I'm like, he didn't really feel like a villain. Like when I was doing my whole comparison of all the villains that I know all the movies. That's it. I haven't really watched the series, but like out of all the villains in Highlander, well, I should say, out of all the Highlander, Clan McLeod and shit, Connor has suffered the worst.
Yeah.
And I don't know all of Duncan's story, but going by what I know for Connor,
he's had plenty.
Yeah, Kurgan killed his girl, raped and killed her.
Yeah.
Cain broke his sword. Jacob Kell killed his mom, Heather, or his mom and Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that trio fucked Connor over so bad, and then he's just broken.
And plenty of people go after Methos because he found out down the road, oh, when I was under a different allegiance, I did kill you or your ancestor.
I killed your ancestor. Dramatic music commercial break. Comes back, same frame. It's like,
it's fortunately not like that. That's what I love too. When it goes to commercial break, it's to breathe. It's never the dreaded what every other show would do, where it's like freeze frame. And you're like,
yeah. Well, that was like TNG with Worf's brother revealed.
They somehow got away with it, but there were so many others where it's just like, dude, this dramatic weight just got lost by that commercial break. Oh man. Oh. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, it's like, brother, and it's like slow burn out to commercial. I'm like, really? But then back then, it's like, Worf has a brother? What?
And he's the candy man? What? Oh man.
Yeah, like, so what sword's your favorite?
Oh,
your choice sucks.
I'm definitely gonna go with I'm thinking I could try definitely Duncan's sword. It's so much more swift.
Yeah, I like Duncan's, but I prefer the McLeod clan sword overall.
McLeod.
I love that damn thing. It's iconic. It has its own stage presence, and it's so underrated because you only see it for the one film. Well, actually, two if you count Endgame. But yeah, it's there. It's a symbol of what the heck, who's in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Kurgan's is nice.
His is nice. It just shows more skills than the various helmets he's wearing. And I love how what's his name, who worked on the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Princess Bride, and was the Darth Vader fighting double in the original trilogy, choreographed the Highlander TV show in the first movie.
David Prose?
No, not Prose. Prose was just the actor for the most part. And I'll just look it up. Star Wars. I've only studied him multiple times. And I just loved how he just had a great sense of, okay, yes, so it was Bob Anderson. Yep, he was the fencer, and he did Disney's The Three Musketeers.
Oh wow,
Uh,
good movie, underrated
even,
too.
yep, he even coached Errol Flynn and Johnny Depp. So there you go.
Wow.
But you've seen his work also in The Mask of Zorro with Banderas.
I love that movie.
Everyone does. And isn't it funny how with Connery we can just assume he's lived many lifestyles, so that's why he's British, but swearing
Scottish.
to be well, and an Egyptian. And with it's just so funny. I've had plenty of Latino friends who are just like that. With Zorro, they're like, "Hey, Hopkins, he both works and he does it. Like he's not Spanish, but he's fucking excellent. It's a choice."
True. Very true.
It's just interesting how some actors can just get away with it. It's like, tough sell, but I watched him technically.
The original Trek Klingons, they were so cool.
Oh Lord, be here all day.
They were real. That's how they're supposed to look. No, we're not having this conversation again. I don't care. Original Trek's the best. There's nothing political in it.
Wow.
We're done.
They clearly haven't seen the black or white episode. So I love how when Duncan doesn't fight, like he's always fighting differently. If it's personal, he's really distracted, even though he knows how to end this. And it's never like Captain Kirk, where it's so predictable. You know it's going to end just with a fight.
Or sex.
Or yeah, definitely never gets that formulaic. And I gotta say though, like with the first Highlander, I just love how he finds out what he can do when it's merely a flesh wound, when he gets stopped by some German soldiers and he just go ahead and fights them. He's like, and they're just so spooked by him. They're just like, I guess I'm going away.
Oh, that was like Endgame. Oh god, that was so funny. Where him and Connor are fencing, and Connor
I always did like that. Yeah.
He keeps getting stabbed. He's like, no, stop.
They do a good job considering the fact that they got a double Christopher Lambert extensively due to his blindness.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's a reason you don't see him much when he's fighting because he.
Oh. That's sad.
Oh man.
What else did I like? I definitely. Oh, which quickening is the best, Connor's or Duncan's?
So I'm gonna suddenly go to, again, Duncan has better fights, even in the lesser movies. But even lesser episodes, he's just so charming. God damn it. And
I know
charisma is infectious.
Like
women like him. Like, guys are like, you can beat me up any day. But
he's literally the 90s sex symbol for TV because he's got the brooding
hair, all the French Canadian locations,
and he cut that ponytail, that gorgeous fucking hair. He goes and cuts it. Bastard.
Right.
I still love him. I love you, Adrian.
Well, and I think that's just why everyone liked the show. It was just so easy to follow instead of, who get killed this week. That in season 1, there's a Die Hard in a courtroom episode that's just fun, and the guy taking it over is the bad guy from Toy Soldiers and the Wishmaster, Andrew Divoff. One of 2 appearances.
Lovely. Let's see. I like Connor's quickening is iconic, obviously, because it's the start.
He has better ones. Because Highlander for the first 2 seasons, kind of, you'll have a cool fight, but it takes a while for them to get used to it, and the slow motion and low budget isn't always on its side. Connor in any of his movies, even the worst ones, the effects are really well primed. And
the first one with the exploding windows and shit, that's perfect. And then Duncan just takes it up another fucking level.
Season 3 was pretty lame, or not season. Movie 3 was pretty lame, but and movie 1 and 4 is pretty good. It's just, in fact, I'll even admit, when they're talking at the beginning of Endgame, saying trouble is afoot. Shout out to Mac Jackson of the Forever Adventure network. He brought up how this was such a cool use of suspense, and I don't know what it is, but many Canadian shows they know how to do that. They just know how to just kind of add tension and then have the freaky soundtrack and
it's the maple syrup.
well, hey,
Hey-o.
Canadian maple syrup. Now I know.
Can you imagine Canadian Highlander?
Oh yeah.
South Park style.
Oh, how about Trailer Park Boys style?
Oh my god!
They're just throwing bottles at each other, saying "Shut the fuck up."
There can only be one, motherfucker.
And then Mr. Leahy comes in. Hey y'all, I'm gonna fight you.
Now, no more violence and God.
Get in my
Like there can
party.
be only one here, God. It's gonna be me, God.
Oh, Julian, I kind of like you.
And Mr. Mackey kills.
Drugs bad. Stuffs him down one of the Highlanders first. What the fuck, dude?
Okay, Kenny, I'll take your head now, Kenny. Okay.
Now I gotta ask you, what is the definitive Queen song?
Oh, Jesus Christ, there's a good one.
And people are acting like, hey, this is all good and that. It's like, yeah, but for the longest time, you could not find those songs.
I have the 2 disc sets for Highlander and Endgame, and the first one has the Queen tracks on a separate CD.
There you go.
Yeah, all them songs, Jesus. Prince's is my number 1 pick. That thing, like that opening for it, too damn good. Like that just sets you the fuck off perfectly.
Yeah.
The most underrated track is "Give Me the Prize." That's Kurgan's theme, and I bought that song recently, and it's got snippets from Kurgan on it, which is really cool. Then I'd go with "Who Wants to Live Forever."
Nothing really matters. I'm just kidding. Different song.
I know. God, I mean, "Who Wants to Live Forever" is so good. I recently watched an orchestra perform that, and yeah, the woman who sang it was really good. Oh, wow, that hurts a lot. Because it's so hard to top Freddie Mercury. Like you can't top them. Yeah. I love that Live Aid performance. That shit was funny as hell. He's warming up with the crowd, and he's like, "Fuck you." I'm like, that's perfect. That is absolutely goddamn perfect. Oh, it's so good.
You don't take shit from nobody.
Yeah, Princes of the Universe is just absolutely flawless. There's no way to remake that. And then you have Temu Band and the Source doing that shit, and I'm like, I'm saying, how the fuck did you lose the rights to Queen in 2007? Like, come on, man.
People
and major props
aren't doing the right accounting.
Word and major props. And here's the part: Panzer was involved with the Source.
Yeah. And he lost
like,
the rights again, just like with Highlander 2. It's like, who are your investors?
Like, how? And then props to the Search for Vengeance for having the goth band. Yeah, the goth band.
Pretty hard to complain to us here from Japan.
It's wild. Like, I love that anime. That is like.
Yeah, I remember when it premiered on Sci-Fi Channel, and I was like, I can get a lesser one, but now I get this. This is dynamite. This is a return to the franchise. I wish, and you mentioned the video game before, and I still to this day, just when you see that demo trailer, you're just like, so what wasn't working with this?
I know. And then I did more research and found out there were 2 other games before 2007. There was the one that followed the movie, and then there's the one that follows the animated series called Last of the Clouds. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. But the 2007 game, like, I saw that trailer and I was amped. I still have the insert for the promotion on that, for the advert on that shit from the animated.
It seemed like for a while it was just the butt of all jokes.
And it was promising because you had a new McLeod and Owen.
There was so much time in between the original sequels. People thought it was going direct to video. I'm like, nope. These went to theaters.
And it was supposed to be. They took away the health meter and gave you an endurance bar instead. Or no, stamina bar. That's what it was. When your stamina got too low, you passed out from a fight. I'm like, that's not bad. That's perfect. And then they just up and canceled it. I guess it was too much work to make it all stick together. And there was supposed to be appearances from Duncan and Connor, and I think Sean Connery, but I'm not sure. But I remember that Duncan and Connor were both of the mainstays for it. But Search for Vengeance, though, that Collins quickening, absolutely spectacular. I love that
It
shit.
seemed like the books were pretty cool too, and that I've had Mac talk about it before, they just acknowledged just some of the other characters, just skeletons in their closets. And
yeah, I forgot there were Highlanders. I forgot there were.
We keep going back to Star Trek and X-Files, but it is similar in that it works as both a movie and as a show, and that is a testament. So whenever I see people talking about, hey, they remade your favorite TV show as a movie, I'm like, well, it can work. Look at SWAT and The Fugitive. Not everyone has seen the TV version versus the movie version, but both are their own deal. And I don't know, dude. I think, like, I had no interest in the Fall Guy just because who cares? I didn't care. But I've never seen the show, and I've heard about it. I know the whole gimmick, Hollywood stuntman becomes like a badass agent. Yeah, it's just, but I mean, even though Lambert didn't want anything to do with it, he was proud of it, making his career. And Adrian Paul, again, I applaud how he, much like Nick Gillard, who did the Star Wars prequel fights, I love how he teaches sword fights for fans. It's like, okay. It's like, see, that's brilliant.
And he does trips to Scotland and whatnot.
He's proud of his heritage. And the funny thing is, I had only seen parts of the show growing up, but what was so funny was I often would see a lot of B movies that
I need to be in them.
Yeah, and he could carry it, and so it was always one of those. I'm like, hey, he shouldn't be here, but he's just such a good actor. So I think his career looks way better compared to Lambert's, who outside of Gunman, which coincidentally co-stars Highlander free baddie Mario Van Peebles, and a few other Albert Pion movies, he just kind of always looked like he was just struggling with his English. He always came off to me as if Dolph Lundgren had just not gotten better as performer. And Dolph would be a great Highlander. I said I would love.
No, there's a lot of them that would have been good for this shit. This whole franchise.
In fact, I want Dolph to be a Terminator one day. He's as great as Unisoul. Let's have a crossover.
Like my favorite, the best actors that would fit Highlander today, dead and alive. Lance Reddick, easily. Just he would have been so perfect.
Deep voice.
Yes, Idris Elba, because he's got that swagger, and he can literally change his accent to whatever, so he can be any generation. Lucy Liu.
Yeah, good call.
Ling, love her. She was in The Breed with Adrian.
There you go.
Michelle Rodriguez. What else? Chadwick Boseman would have been another good choice.
Ooh.
Yeah. Trying to think. There's so many that I like. I'm reading and watching. It's like, oh, there's so many choices. Um, oh, I can't think of her goddamn name. Oh, Mila Jovovich.
Ooh, hey.
Yes.
Can't be any worse than anything else she's done after development.
Kate Beckinsale. Because she's
no charisma. Sorry, not an Iowa guy.
Happens.
Now, Wesley Snipes. Yeah, you can give me a Blade versus Highlander by anything.
Oh, that would be a lot of fucking fun.
Just that Wesley as even a blind swordsman would be cool. He's like, I hear you. You can't mess with me.
And Donnie Yen should he should come back.
He was the best thing in the game. So like he after this in Blade 2, he swore off Hollywood, and they were trying to make it work. Like they wanted him for Expendables. They're like, well, we've been filming Hong Kong with you, and just to no avail. And I know he had an ego, and Wan Wu Ping apparently had a big falling out with him. He's like, dude, after Iron Monkey, you and I are fucking done. But they made up. But it's just, I had no idea. I just thought, hey, his career went in a solo direction, much like Jet Li and Michelle Yeoh. But nope, not the case. He wanted to be the biggest momentum. But I don't think he was ever a jerk. He was feisty, if you will.
It happens.
He wasn't to the point of like Gary Daniels, where he could, like, Gary Daniels was apparently insufferable on the set of Fist of the North Star because he thought this was going to make his career take off. And lo and behold, it goes to, it premieres on HBO and then premieres, in other countries, but not the hit. And his career kind of just, he was the direct-to-video Jason Statham, Scott Adkins, before that was a thing.
Keanu Reeves, easily.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, you know what?
Definitely.
Following up, Brandon Lee.
Yes.
The Crow and even The Prophecy, which is actually coincidentally by the writer of Highlander, have a lot of the same kind of deal of just accepting magic and just making use of the character describing their backstory without it seeming like a exposition dump. But I'll even do better.
Michael Jai White.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised he wasn't in one of these. Jason Isaacs is a recurring villain on the show, but I would have loved to seen that character have more screen time. So here's one for you. He's a friend of Brandon Lee's, and they coincidentally share the same stunt double, Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yes, absolutely, Lou.
He could even be a cowboy Highlander. That'd be great.
I'm gonna get you, McLeod.
If they wanted to add a Navajo twist, I'd go with that too.
Yes. Oh my God, there's so many.
Even just a Filipino freedom fighter, that would be fucking awesome. Just someone, because that's the beauty of
Danny Trejo.
Oh yes, as cliche as it is,
Danny.
I could see it. I could see. Here's the twist. So he plays a community leader. Who runs a church. He gets shut down, and then lo and behold, once he's buried, he wakes up and he hasn't died, and so he starts exacting his vengeance, and that would be awesome. And then, of course, some of the
it would be,
instead of just Duncan or Connor encountering him, it would just be cool if Methos encountered him and said, "Hey, I always walk the gray line. I will help you with your quest, but after this, after we take down these gangbangers who are threatening your community, we gotta stop, man. You gotta maybe get some surgery or something, just so, or better yet, he doesn't have to. Like, people, because he has come back to life, people really do start taking his teaching seriously now. There's the irony, and that. So the closest you have to that is Andrew Divoff did have a secondary role, the Wishmaster. Yep, he keeps invading this conversation because he's the best actor ever. He plays a religious cult leader who tries to convert a bunch of guys.
Oh boy.
Because, he can't
Daniel
die.
Day Kim.
Oh, there you go. Lost 24 Hawaii 5-0 guy. Yeah. We loved him in the Hellboy movie.
Yes.
And it's so stupid how that casting director did not cast it. It's just like, what do you think this role was for?
Ed could have pulled the role off too. Like, I watched it twice, and I'm like, yeah, Ed or Dave.
Other than Deadpool, I don't like him in anything else.
I mean, at least he bowed out. That was cool.
I will give him that. He was the bigger man instead of where's my trailer, dude. It's pretty hard to goof up a Highlander. Like, you are assisted by the whole magic thing, so
it's a low budget deal. It's a $20 to $50 million deal to make. That is also true. It's not that bad. And the best part about that nobody really realizes, and I mentioned this in the whole thread, is, and I'll give you the link to that so you can share it with everybody. It's an ensemble cast, and when you have an ensemble
the love interest is just as key because she's the audience's connection to understanding. Is like, wait, what? And how am I going to get police to help me when they don't,
it's not just the biggest thing with the ensemble deal is when they're doing the era switching. You switch eras, you have the same casts in that era. And it doesn't take much. And the wardrobe department doesn't suffer because of it. Because they're like, we're doing Victorian era? Okay, that's easy.
We don't have to worry about how you looked yesterday.
Yeah, and you don't, if they're in the same section, all you have to do is just redress the sets for that. It's just like, take down this tapestry, put this wallpaper up, and then just switch it around. And it's so cheap. And
so many outdoor locations, so you actually believe they're on a battlefield.
For real. And it's so easy to do that. And that's what's missing from today's movies is even serious. Like, it's the ensemble layout that's missing. It's that energy.
Never heard anything bad about any of the producers or directors who worked on it. It seemed like everyone knew their shit. And the fact that Roger Daltrey, was just so, yes, that's right. The main singer of The Who is a Highlander, guys.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know why enough people don't talk about it enough, because he's just so, as Hugh, he was just supposed to be just a one-off, and he was so popular, everyone was like, bring him back. And they're like, well, we just killed him, so he's going to have to come back in flashbacks. And he has just so many amusing fights and shit talking, but he's basically, it's just an, little known fact. Roger Daltrey was actually an actor before he became a, singer, and they loved kind of just playing up his, just playboy theatrics, and it's like, see, that works for that role. The least. It's kind of like when Ice-T was, on SVU, it's like, see, he's a streetwise dude, and so it makes sense to just kind of add that.
And that was one of those cast switching deals too, because you had your main cast, and then they would switch.
Yeah, I like Michelle Hood.
Yes, I love the shit out of that because you had a good start off, and then they're like, okay, we're switching people around. I'm like, why didn't this work with Sequest DSV? If they'd have done that with Sequest, the show would have been more popular, but they rushed season 3, they switched people out, nobody got enough time to expand on different stories, and it's sad. It's a good series, but I think it'd be better if they just turned it into cast switching. Yeah.
I still like how they're switching it up now. It's just, I think that's it. No one expected to go as long as it did, and
it was educational. That was the best selling point for it. Like, fucking Robert Ballard at the end of every episode telling you facts. Like, dude, that's cool. That's what I love most about the 90s shows. Every single one of them had educational value in some way, whether it was a PSA with Power Ranger.
Rainbow.
Yes, especially Reading Rainbow. Because
can you imagine Adrian Paul guest starring on there? Here's how you swing a sword. They need to do a Sesame Street.
Take Elmo's head. Like, no, Elmo, please don't. Elmo, I'm gonna be only one. Oh god, that's some funny shit. Uh,
Oh no.
but yeah, going back to the books,
But
like
an ensemble is key, like you say, like the fact that they train a human, how to
yeah,
fight, Richie,
hmm
that was cool. This is like, see, it's not just I'm immortal and just wait for me to heal and save your ass. It's like, no, we're all here
yeah,
together. We're all answer to each other. We all like each other. We're all trying to actually live,
yeah.
because it's already said as it is that I'm going to outlive you.
hmm
And the closest, other than sharing the same choreographer, I always, with Aragorn, Lord of the Rings, had a Highlander connection to him. I was just like, see, the Dunedain Ranger, he says he's 800 years old, but, to us, he looks like he's just 40,
Yeah,
And yeah, Aragorn on
yeah, I know.
the Dunedain Rangers. And see, I always thought they missed out on crossing that over. Sure, I'm sure the Tolkien estate would have been like, nope, we're not doing that. So
True.
anyone who has a fan fiction, please put it out there. That those two belong together. That would be so awesome
It would be fun to see
in
that
this
go
version of the Earth that was before now.
down. Yeah, but going back to the books, yeah, I do remember there being Highlander books. And I remember that Buffy, Angel, Track, Star Wars, they all had books and shit that tied in
Angel was
together.
kind of similar with how it approached the humor and
Yeah,
montages. They walk in, they're using the humor not only to entertain the audience, but also to tell you a little more about themselves, especially when they're captured. And
yeah.
see, and building on your 90s and 2000 point, that's what I
Mhm.
miss the most. Like but I don't
It
think
was
anyone was
organic.
taking note that whoever they had, once they quit or whatever, or programming changed for all networks and cable, I think they
hmm
got to the point where like, oh, we don't remember why it's work, so let's just take all these scripts that still need some fine tuning from that have been in the shelves since the 80s and just rip off better movies.
Yeah, like I look back, like the biggest success story of Buffy is Nicholas Brendan,
She's the chosen one.
easily.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, he's an
Yeah,
interesting guy.
Nicholas started that out, and he had a stuttering problem.
Yeah,
And playing that
I
whole
remember
series,
hearing about that.
7 years, it helped him be able to talk.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Now, he did spiral out of control for a while, but
Yeah.
going back to his original roots on Buffy, like, that helped him a lot. Like, that's a success story. I love that kind of shit. That's
Hmm.
beautiful. And you don't hear that anymore. All you hear now is like, oh, we have sex scandals. Kids were raped on set. And I'm like, great. What about
Yeah.
positive shit? Like, where's the good stories at? Like,
If
it's
there
like,
is something positive, you got to scroll to the into the clickbait article. I'm like, you bastards.
mm,
I want to know something positive. I get that negativity sells, but come on.
bird. It's annoying. It's like,
Lowest common denominator, man. It's just,
yeah. And I look at there needs to be more sword fighting shit. I love guns, I really do, but fuck, they're boring as hell. It's like, all I do is shot you with my mega
I think the
bazooka
biggest issue
9000.
they either don't stand out or some of them are just as bad. They're
It's like
edited too
watching
quickly.
COD live action. Every
COD?
show. COD. Call of Duty.
Oh, the way you
Every.
said that. I'm like, what does this have to do with fish?
I mean, we can go there.
Something fishy here. Well, also, here's
Good
my issue
morning,
with the lethal.
ladies.
Here's the issue with uh the uh with car chases, like especially in
Oh,
the Lethal Weapon
yes.
sequels. Take them out, nothing changes. Other than the Die Hard and Terminator movies, they pretty much are just there to be Fast and Furious, like Carborn. And I'm like, see, and the Fast and Furious nut jobs just are kooky too. Like kind of like with the Saw crowd. I see so many of them. They're like, I like that. I'm like, but it's lazy. It doesn't do anything. I'm like, oh, yeah, this and that. I'm like, well, It doesn't work in that
There's
movie. Why is
actually
it
a
working in this?
plot hole in Saw that I remember now. Yeah.
I predicted the first plot twist, which was like, of course, the killer's the dead body on the floor. There's no other suspects here.
The plot hole that I remember, because I've watched all the movies and I was like, what happened to the girl in the trap? The little girl. Like, where did she go to? And I watched all the films and I'm like, where's she at? I know, it's like, where the fuck is she? Like, what happened to her? Where'd she go?
A lot of horror fans seem to like Highlander and Universal Soldier, and I think it's just kind of like Maniac Cop and even Chucky. People like just more than the fighting.
Yeah, and the thing with Highlander is there's no complexity. There's zero complexity. It's simple stuff.
Except for seasons 3 from 5, but I know what you mean.
There's sword fighting.
It has an unintentional lowbrow campy quality to it before it gets great. So
yeah, like you got your sword fighting. They can only die by decapitation. They can't have kids.
It's almost like Phantasm, where it's a road movie. They're walking around.
They can't fight on holy ground.
If they don't stop these guys, they're going to terrorize future generations to come. That's kind of the scarier part. The only thing scarier than I shoot you and you take a few minutes to respawn and wake up. And if you're not awakened by then, I've already decapitated you. Like, it's that. And they always do those well, especially throughout the show and parts of Endgame. In fact, I even like the second movie where they're getting shot at and they take a minute to reheal and just start knocking down all the palace guards. And when I look back at it now, I always joke, see, Ramirez and Connor were the original Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan.
That's true. And the final part of it is era switching. Because it's fun. It's one of those things where that was
exactly where you are and where you need to be. And Battlestar Galactica does similar edits. It's like, okay, given how it's Suits actually, believe it or not, does a similar filming style. You're not going to believe me, but they really do. Like, so-and-so's hair is cut down here, so this is clearly them in the 90s versus present day, where they're at the front desk and they're talking this way now. It's just so freeing from a visual standpoint and an editing perspective, because we're in it. And those are the scenes that are terrible. I'm sure you've written a script before. It sucks having to go back and forth, present day, future day.
Past. Yeah, and what was so nice about the era switching was that that's a staple of the 90s, because it was always about going back, because this was before the new millennium hit. So you had you had your history buff. So if you're history buff and they're back in time in like the 15 to 1700s, you're like, that's correct.
The most crazy episode they did was Connor McLeod being one of the guys who was with the Valkyrie fighters who bombed Hitler's bunker.
Oh, wow.
I hated how that ended, but that's for a different reason. I hate how the guys trying to stop the neo-Nazis end up dying. I'm like, see, that's bullshit. But I get what they're trying to preach, how you got to just arrest these shitheads who have no respect. But you got some historical subtext, and it was almost kind of like with the reveal that Cancer Man has shot JFK. It's just kind of just fun, just joking around. It's like, okay, let's just say for argument's sake, this dude who you're following.
Now you look at all the shows that were in syndication around the same time Highlander was going on. You had DS9.
Mm-hmm.
You had especially X-Files.
Crap like goofy stuff like Nash Bridges. You had shit
Renegade.
like Baywatch. Yeah, Renegade.
Yeah. And it's wild that Baywatch lasted longer than TNG.
Oh yeah,
because they started 2 years apart from each other.
Did you ever see the funny Fox promos for Renegade and Highlander weekdays on Fox? It's so funny because I missed that too. Like USA Network would do it, where Cartoon Network would even do it, where all their characters are in one bumper, and it's like, see, this network is literally a universe. We're all guessing on each other's shit, but it's not interference. It's not for ratings. It's just because we can. We're breaking the rules. And I love how Lorenzo Lamas is like, watch my show. And then Adrian Paul comes in, watch my show. So they're having kind of a fun kind of.
Oh, that. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was funny. And see, and I miss that. Now it's great cross promotion, but now the only thing they do now is just have characters appear on each other's show. And CBS does it, and it drives me crazy because all the shows that are guesting aren't the same tone. They did it with Murder, She Wrote, and Magnum PI, and you're like, nope. Totally different.
It's clickbait.
There you go. The 80s created clickbait before scandals and tabloids, but I mean, tabloids were always a thing going back to like the 40s, but it's just like, it's interesting how, like you say, if everyone would just kind of acknowledge each other and just do a natural fun thing, like, hey, we're on the same channel, let's do a fun crossover. Now, when they do a crossover, it's kind of like,
it's all blown up out of proportion. It's stupid as hell.
Yeah. Well, Y50 would do that, and you just like, stop.
The most underrated crossover that never happened was Homicide, ER, and Law. They were on the same fucking network.
They tried so many times. They were even going to do an episode that was almost kind of like The Siege or something, where a big attack happens in New York by terrorists, but then 9/11 happens, so they're like, we can't do that. I'm like, well, you should have. I
was so mad because, like, the shows ended, and I'm like...
The Shield would have been great if it had crossed over some other gritty stuff like Justified. It'd be perfect, but I get it. Technically, though, The Shield is in other universes that Sean Ryan has worked on because they keep using the same gangsters, so it's technically connected to the unit and Sons of Anarchy.
Nice.
Even SWAT.
Yeah. There's so many.
Oh, there you go. Things. Shamar Moore would be a great Highlander.
Shamar Moore.
You've seen him in Sonic 2. He's the cop, and
I've never seen Sonic.
You haven't seen any of the Sonic movies?
No.
How? Why?
I don't like Sonic.
It's still a good movie, even if you don't like the game.
I don't like Sonic.
You will watch Sonic.
No. Sonic don't work on me.
The Super Mario Brothers movie is good, even if you don't play Mario Brothers.
I like the original.
Anyway, I'll give you the Street Fighter movie.
I love that too.
I will give you that. And speaking of which, Raul Julia and Van Damme would have been perfect.
Oh my god, him as a Highlander would be fucking hilarious. It'd be perfect. It's the best chemistry.
Doing his usual leg ups, and you're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, something cryptic." Why do you have an accent? I don't know where I'm from. I'm a Highlander. Oh man, Schwarzenegger would be amazing, but he would want some serious control. He's like, I need your clothes, your sword, and your jeep. No.
Give me your immortality.
That being said, though, I would have actually loved to see Ian McGregor and Liam Neeson as one.
Oh god.
The closest you got is Captain Panaka is the Black Highlander in the original. You know him from Phantom Menace. There's a Star Wars connection. I'm surprised Clancy Brown hasn't returned to it in some way. Like, been like, I'm the brother of the Kurgan.
He might. I mean, it's possible he could.
Care. We'll do it anyway.
I mean, he's done so many roles over the years. It's wild.
It really is.
Yeah, like you look at everybody's careers and where they were during that time frame. It's like, holy shit. Like they were babies. And then you look at that and then where they landed now, like, fuck. I want to see Kurgan versus Mr. Krabs. That shit would be funny as hell. That would sell.
Of course you would.
So well. It's better to burn out than fade away. Give me money. Like,
oh my god.
How the hell did Kurgan get to Bikini Bottom?
How did we get here? How did we get here? Oh my god.
It would be the most. It would make a great fucking tattoo or a portrait to hang in your home. Like, somebody comes up,
He's got all these
dude.
tattoos and
Mhm.
people's heads in his closet. Everyone's like, you okay, dude?
Oh god, too good.
How'd you get here?
Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah, Stitch is a Highlander.
Can't make out anything you're saying.
This is funny shit.
JY, Idris Elba.
Yeah. Malcolm
Mom.
McDowell.
Just kidding.
He's easy as hell though. I know he's more of a
too easy.
Giancarlo Esposito as a fencing Highlander.
And I want him to be a good guy this time. I'm done with the bad guy. He's done it to death. He can do it in his sleep.
That would be fun. Hey, he would be so perfect. Like, all these people are so perfect for the roles, and yet they'll never capitalize on it because Highlander is such an underrated, under the radar fandom franchise that has a small following to it, and nobody wants to talk about it, or they're ashamed to. They're like, "Oh no, I don't want to talk about something that's from the '80s." No, that's bad.
Or I gotta act like I didn't do it. It's like,
yeah, like, dude, it's worth talking about. Like, especially with resurgence coming with Henry Cavill. Like, I don't know how Henry will do with that. I don't know.
I will be sure to not see it unless it's on Showtime late at night.
I am anxious to see if Batista is really going to play Kurgan. Because, one, he's got the stature for it. He really does.
That's my problem. He's got the body. He's just got not much going on in that head.
I mean, he's really matured in roles, though. Like, where he started and transitioning to an actor, like, I think he's done good. It depends on what role it is, though. But for me, I think he's done really good in terms of transitioning versus The Rock and John Cena and Stone Cold and Triple H. Like, between all of them, Batista has done really fucking well for himself.
Oh, I love him. Yep. Yeah, he'd be a great Highlander.
Yeah. Him as Kurgan, that'd be fucking crazy to see. There's a... Oh, fuck my life. I can't think of his name.
I can't either.
No, when I was writing my Highlander fanfic, we'll get segueing into that. There's one Native American guy that I really liked.
Adam Beach.
One of them. No, Adam's one of them, but he's not who I'm thinking of. He's too nice looking. He has the kind factor going. He doesn't have the mean factor, you know? This guy's got the mean look. Oh my God. No, I really like this guy a lot, and I wanted him for my story for casting because, that's who I thought of, and I could not think of his damn name, and I looked, and I was like, oh, okay, that's who it is. Oh, wait a minute. I put the cast listing down. Stupid. Synergy. Reader.
Oh, man.
There we go. His name is Tokiyaku McLarnon.
I'll show you a McCarnan.
Yeah, it's Tokiya hyphen KUMC capital CLARNON. Yeah, he's got that mean, and I liked him. I've seen him in a couple films. I like that guy's face. Like, he's got that look and that energy too. I just can't remember what movie he was in. I liked a lot. But yeah, that dude's awesome. Another one.
Whoa, bro.
Angelina Jolie.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Like, that makes sense. She can do the action. She can do the drama. She can, yeah.
Definitely. Let's see. Kate Winslet would be interesting.
Yeah. I can totally see that.
She's not really a fighting type though, but like I can see her like trying her best. Yeah, she would try her best with it, definitely.
Like, she is one of those actresses where it's just like, hey, you know.
Helen Mirren.
Yes.
Definitely Helen.
I love how we didn't even have to think. He's like,
I know, it's like
that makes sense. Like, there are those actors. Like, I know he's overused, but Anthony Hopkins, that would make sense. Like, he has that mysterious aura to him. If he wants to be just the narrator, that's
word. I love Helen Mirren.
We so just much. Mentioned Banderas. Hell,
yes.
Anyone who's seen 13th Warrior will instantly agree with you. Just because he can, if it's mysterious, if it's aura, if it's an unusual accent, he will do it. He is a giving man, and I've gone through his Spanish language movies, and
oh wow,
the dude has, again, there's a reason he was a hit over here in America and internationally. He has that deal where he has charisma, but he also just has dedication, for lack of a better word. Like, he knows what he's getting into. He's not holding back. He will do it. He will get it.
What's her name from Altered Carbon would be another good choice.
Damien Lichtman.
I think that's it.
The Hawaiian American gal. Or are you talking about what's her name? But hell,
I
love. What's her name? Renee Elise Ickleberry from that in Hamilton. Like, yeah, she's cool too. In fact, not Daniel Day, Ian Anthony Dell, who was, one of the skins.
Yeah.
You know him also from Elektra and the Wolverine.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and even Brian Mann, who's one of the other versions of that. All these guys who have been doing everything. They would do mainstream movies and then direct video and TV shows, and then now that they're on some streaming shows like Woo Assassins, everyone wants to work with them. Like, they've been here all years. I've known them since checking out their shit at the video store. It's funny. Like, even Billy Zane.
Yeah. Oh God, Billy Zane.
He was in a similar movie, kind of like that, called Invincible. Nothing to do with the Kirkman show.
I don't know that movie.
It was a cheesy TBS movie. Original.
Down.
But it was just so funny how he was giving so much. Well, and that's just it. He kind of was still in Phantom mode.
Yeah, but I love Helen
Wouldn't that
Mirren.
be funny if they redid the Ben Affleck's The Bomb and Phantoms, but they did it with Billy Zane?
But I like Helen Mirren. Like, when they announced Madam Web, I was like, dude, there's Helen Mirren right there. Please, Helen Mirren will fit the role fabulously. It's a sitting gig. All she had to do is sit there and lecture Spider-Man. Not hard to do. And they go with Dakota. I'm like,
fuckers.
Like,
shit.
But anyway, I digress.
You digress, but you're so right.
Like, all these choices and shit, like everything. I like diverse choices. I can't stand the same motherfucking Caucasian shit. Like, give me somebody who's different.
And then you get all these other people wigging out. And it's just like, see what I did, the Wiggers? And they're acting like, hey, why can't it be this?
Fucking like, Ali G can be a goddamn Highlander.
Oh my God. It's so funny to bring that up because that's the key part of Talladega Nights, where Sacha Baron Cohen plays the bad guy in that, and Ricky Bobby does it.
Will Ferrell.
Sure, why not?
As Janet Reno.
Oh my God. Well, then we got to get Dana Carvey and Kevin Nealon in this mix.
Yes, oh god.
Let's get Mike Myers. It'll be a Scots. Aye, laddie. Get all the extras from Braveheart who are all overweight and out of work.
Oh, work shit. Ray. No.
Brendan Gleeson would be great. Mad Eye Moody from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
He's been in other
I'm
epics
thinking
like
of-
Kingdom of Heaven and even played Donald Trump recently and that one Showtime miniseries. But yeah, he's been in Troy and Braveheart. He's a good Irishman.
Yeah.
Gerard Butler.
Yeah, that was on my list too.
He's the number one
Demon
Scots.
Ansu. Ansu.
Ansu.
Black man. Yes.
Oh, Jamon Hanzal. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
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 He'd be
him,
like, give me my blood diamonds
especially
back.
him.
Have you seen
my
the
God.
Gran Turismo movie yet?
Yes, I saw it in D-Box.
I was
That
like-
beautiful.
I actually did get to see it in theaters, and I was like, this dude, this is a fun popcorn movie, but he is giving this an A-list worthy performance that the movie does not deserve.
We'll return after these messages.
If you like small town mystery, crazy news, and wild history, then the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast is for you. Each week, Josh Mills and Wayne McCarty bring you the absolute best Florida has to offer. So if you're looking for a show that's safe for the family, but funny enough to help you escape everyday life, then listen to the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast. That's Florida Men, plural, on Florida Man podcast.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win. On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say Brentfast? Every week on Brentfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast recs and booty debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in, it's Brentfast time. Listen at Brentfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
The Jacked Up Review Show podcast is honored to be part of the Blind Knowledge Podcast Network. Join anytime, talk the talk, and enjoy yourselves. There's something enlightening for everyone with this crowd of cool cats. Check them out. Better than the movie. I'm like, he can be my mentor any day.
Yeah,
Andre
enjoyed
Brager, if he were still with us.
Oh, yes. I miss him.
I know
so
he's
much.
typecast as like a Washington guy or a cop, but like he been a fan since I saw him in Glory, which was his first movie ever made. And I'm just like, see, this guy has a way of just enunciating just some philosophy on screen that is just some really understated. Hell, if you want to get all
Yeah.
technical, Scott Bakula. Think about it.
Yeah, that would work.
He did a quad
I mean,
leap and he's a Highlander.
Oh, God, that would be beautiful. That would be so wild. God, that'd be the wildest fucking crossover ever. Highlander Quantum Leap. Holy shit, that writes itself.
Yep.
Damn.
All the
That
shit
really
they could
does.
have done, but they just
Oh.
didn't for some weird ass reason.
Who owns the rights to Highlander now?
Anchor Bay, which is part of Lionsgate, so yeah. Dimension Films, I think, surrendered it to even post
Yeah.
Weinstein. So
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember
because they
that
own the
one.
rights to the first two movies and the show, so it's like and
Yeah.
the fifth awful movie. So there you go. Dimension surrendered for movies 3 and 4 to them, and I think the anime is under them as well. So yeah,
That works.
it all works. You can get one of those Mill Creek Blu-ray kits, and I always love how they sell it all together because otherwise no one's gonna buy movies
Yeah.
after part 2.
Like, I like the source. It's good. Its only problem is that it's a product of 2007.
Where
That's
everything
its
has to
only-
look like Matrix and Blade.
Yeah, like we talked
Wearing
about that
glasses for no
before.
reason. You're like,
Yeah,
really?
we talked about that during Pitch Black podcast, for Riddick and all that,
Yes,
and
we
how
did.
2000s and
Oh,
stuff.
yes, we did.
It's so much because there's too many explosion shots. They can be cut down. You can cut out Temu Queen and put in actual Queen. Even the sex scene, makeout scene was kind of bad. And the thing I didn't like about the ending. Now, the ending back then, I was like, oh, this is really cool. I love that. But then I rewatch it and I'm like, so Duncan has a kid with Anna, and he's no longer in the game. And that was it. He surrendered. So, yeah, it's an end to the Highlander
and the bad
franchise.
effects and overacting. Oh,
yeah, I loved it still. So, yeah, my fanfic picks up with Duncan and Anna having a kid.
Oh,
and how
big runner.
Yeah, for real. And how, their son, Sean, because the original.
I'm just naming off martial art actors.
Tony Jaa.
Tony Jaa would be great. Did you ever see Trancers or Dollman, one of those full moon movies?
I know Scanners, but not Trancers.
No. So those were by the Puppet Master guys.
Oh, I remember the dumbass rape scene from Puppet Master.
Jeez.
That shit was so funny. Now, rape is horrible, but that movie with, wasn't it Tolan? Yeah, it was Tolan doing the shit. And it's just that slow-mo face he's doing. He's like, "Arr!" I'm like, why is that funny? That's not supposed to be funny. That's horrible.
Yeah. Well, so Tim Thomerson is a comedian who does great voiceovers. And he's in all these B movies, basically Trancers was a Blade Runner Terminator cash in with a Back to the Future kind of time travel. And his character was very much like Ash in Evil Dead. Just 3 years later, the same kind of deal. He's killing these guys who are kind of dead-eyed inside. And he's time travels, so it's just, but he's always just badass and dry, and you're like, man, this dude could read the phone book, be so entertaining.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. So my fanfic follows Sean's journey. And so he follows in his father's footsteps.
I'll follow in your father's footsteps. I don't know.
Which one?
Oh. You can't offend someone who you don't know shit about. Oh.
For those of you who don't know, I have 3 fathers. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, yep, 3.
If you beat up one of them, you still got 2/3 of a pie.
One died of a heart attack. And the other, my bio dad, I don't know where the hell he's at. I also gave my info to Rena, too, so she's going to look into it. Eventually. But yeah. So, it follows Sean following in his father's footsteps and becoming a Highlander himself at the forced age of 10, which was shitty. But he doesn't take his first head until he's 26. So instead of being the usual protagonist of starting at 16, like every other fucking Y adult book. Oh, YA movie, I decided to bump that shit. And it's really good. Like, my original layout for it is still good. I post the whole thing's on Wattpad. It's called Highlander Synergy. Originally, it was Brothers of the Immortal. And then I decided to I've been re-editing and rewriting different parts of it because there was so much. It's so good, I kept the original version. But I need to cut a lot of shit out of the original so it's a little more flowing better. And when I finish it, whenever the hell that'll be.
Yeah.
I guess it takes me forever to finish a fucking story.
Dude, I want all the time in the world to start getting back to script writing.
Yeah. And I want to share it with Adrian and see what he thinks of it. Because
But
honestly,
either way,
like,
it all comes back to Highlander at the end of the day. Like, there's a reason we talk about it. Like, it made it possible to talk about fantasy that wasn't just Arthurian or sword and sorcery anymore. It's like, what if you had a secret cult, you answer to each other, you fight a certain way, it...
And the best part is it's easy to get into and walk away from at the same time, because it's not like Star Wars.
And you can be like, that was cool, kind of overrated. You can be like, that was fun, that was schlocky, but worth seeing. Like, we reference it even more than we realize we reference it.
Yeah, for real. Like, you look at it and it's so easy. It's easy to sink into. Mm-hmm. It's not like Star Wars or Trek or D&D or MTG.
They're doing it to death.
Like, yeah, for real. Where you have to like pick a side. That's the worst part. There's no pick a side in Highlander. Yeah. It's just, you can like whoever the hell you want. You can be in the mythos, or you can be in the Duncan or Connor.
Versus than Star Wars.
Yeah. It's like you can pick whatever you like. You can enjoy the comics or books. You can enjoy the movies or the shows. Nobody's telling you what to do. You know? That's what's so much fun about that.
Tell me what to do.
Now, who's the top McLeod?
Ooh, good question.
Well, like for me,
Duncan, because he's still alive.
I love Duncan to death. Like, he's so...
I would literally kiss that man. I'm a straight individual, but I would give him a big ass hug and be like, you know what, dude?
Give me a kisser, baby.
Love you like, I don't know, hug.
Kiss. I love you in a non-homo way.
Got a crush, demolished.
Yeah. Definitely.
Be careful using the word demolished.
Yeah. I would also go with, like, out of everybody in that clan that I like so far, I would have to go with
your face.
I am your face, McLeod of Clan McLeod.
I am your ass, McLeod.
My ass was born in the Highlands of Scotland.
Bloody hell.
Oh, here's a good crossover, and I'll give my answer. Highlander, Xena. Easy. Too fucking easy.
Be careful now. Easy. Now you've just made it part of the Evil Dead verse.
Ew, gross.
They did a comic book crossover. And Ash is part of Freddy and Jason, so now McLeod's going to be getting a visit from Freddy.
That's funny.
And he could handle it. He'd be like, you can keep killing me, and I'm going to keep coming back to life. It's pretty hard, because that's the other thing I like. Is like, these guys are technically zombies. You can't kill them.
True.
They're vampires for real, but without the blood.
Mm-hmm. I would have to pick Colin McLeod. He's one of my top favorites next to Duncan. I love Connor.
Methos.
Methos. I don't know.
And then Hugh, Daltrey's character, and then Joe, and then some of the other... Amanda, the blonde gal, she's awesome. And then, she got her own spinoff. Come on.
Yeah.
And people give that one so much hate. For me, that's season 7 of Highlander in my mind. And I think a lot of people just, because she was like Q from Star Trek, but for us who are naughty, is like, see, I'm okay with naughty 24/7. See, because it wasn't lowbrow. For spinoff, it could have easily been a crappy version of like La Femme Nikita, and it's like, no, it's her story too.
No, I will give an honorable mention to Owen McLeod from the game. Like, I think his story would have been a lot of fun to find out.
That's where they need to go with the franchise. Just have a new guy who's never been there. People will accept them on their own. I mean, they did it with Babylon 5, and I'm going to get some flack for this, but I liked Legend of the Rangers. And when we did our whole ranking, dude, I had never seen a more positive B5 chat. Everyone almost always likes to shit on season 5 or the movies, and I'm just like,
That's dumb. Like, dude, watch it.
The reason I got into this was a call to arms.
Wow.
That's at the very end. Because I was a Tony Todd fan and I watched anything he's in, and he was in that. And I was just like, hey, I see why my uncle watched this back when he wasn't unhappily married and blah, blah, blah. And I see why this was a cult hit. And it's low budget, but the story is so visceral that you can handle the CD-ROM era Duke Nukem graphics. But when we did our ranking, dude,
to do that.
in 4 years, and it's so bullshit. It's like they wanted it to die. They're just like, let's have it play the same day as a sports game. I'm like, you idiots. Repeat it. And I didn't watch for the longest time because I saw so much hate, but I would have watched the shit out of that. I would have been cool with that, because instead of just being the billionth, I mean, it would have been like Stargate, where it's not trying to be like another version of Law and Order or Star Trek. It's just like it's its own thing, and occasionally we have the characters acknowledge we're in the same verse, but it's not to the point of it's not like Buffy or Angel where you gotta watch, season 2 episode 5 in order to make sense of season 1 episode 15. It's not chaotic just watching all the parts together. It's more like, hey, we're leading into this and that, and if you're ready, get ready for 4 explosive hours of epic TV.
Word, because like Babylon 5, and I've
the Crusade show, we were so positive about it, and it's so unheard of, dude. I see so many people, they will shit on it unless they watch it in chronological order.
Like, I've gone into depth about B5 in my reviews and on the podcast.
We are not going to get any better. I had so much fun just re-editing those fucking reviews, because we had so many. When we originally did it, we had crappy sound and hiccups and repeated ourselves. Splitting it up was more digestible, and then to do an ultimate ranking and then do a villain special is like, see, we're not going to get any better than that. Everyone else wants to chronicle each episode. I can't do that, dude. Every episode is too dense. That's not bad. I'm just saying that's going to be a lot. I could do a season.
What I like best about B5 is the fact that there's a beautiful reverse trilogy with Valen. I love that. That paid off so fucking well.
They're kind of like the Watchers here.
Yeah, really, they are. And the funny part is that so many people were divided on Sinclair or Sheridan.
And I like apples both and oranges.
They're both great.
You would have
Sheridan take though.
That's just it too, dude. It's like everybody wants a contest. Who's my favorite doctor? Who's my favorite comedian? That they did. I'm sure you've heard of how they did it with Mystery Science Theater, Joel versus Mike. It's like,
who did I like? I watched it in the late '90s when Lex was on Sci-Fi.
So you probably saw Mike, but
yeah, I like Mike. I didn't watch the original with Joel.
It's all good. And now we got Jonah, and I liked how that actor Jonah Ray was even joking in person. It was like, this is going to be the next Doctor Who discussion. I'll be the weird Christopher. And if this doesn't get more than one season, I'm going to be the Christopher Eccleston out.
Nice.
But see, this is it. It's kind of like with Batman and Robin Hood. Is like, well, depends on how it's written, the style. It's not just the portrayer.
Yeah.
But so many people do this. It's like, what
the fuck was that show on UPN? Oh,
there's a bunch.
I know. No.
Level 9. I don't know. The Sentinel.
Yes, that motherfucker.
That was very Highlander-esque. Yeah, Richard Berge.
Him.
So
him.
I have hated him since he was one of the bad guys in the first season of 24. I don't hate him as a person. I'm just saying he was always a bad guy in every other thing I saw him in, and so he was so much fun. He just kind of I knew it took me years to watch that show, but around the 2010s they started showing reruns finally on Get TV, and I just love how I just made you shit. You're like, what did he do? I'm like, nothing. He's fine. I'm just saying he did his job very well. Like he plays the bad guy. You believe it.
I love this shit.
Oh man, but yeah,
I hate him as a bad guy.
Well, no, I love to hate him because he's doing his job so well. He did a good job. Oh my god, when he's a bad guy, man.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love
He
it.
is so freaky. He's just, and that's like his only good guy role, but it was so much like kind of Lethal Weapon meets Highlander meets Star Trek. He's like 4 seasons though, man. That was a good run. It's an awesome show. I swear we will do a UPN special one day.
Yes,
but it's just so funny watching it now because did you ever watch those PM entertainment movies growing up?
Which ones?
So, but you've heard of them.
You'd have to specify.
Okay, so long story short, these 2 producers in Vegas made these schlocky direct-to-video made-for-TV action movies that often aired on TNT after WrestleMania or on HBO, and they were just cheesy independent B movies.
Like Tech War?
They were kind of like Tech War, some of them, but mainly they had all these martial arts actors like Gary Daniels, Jeff Speakman, and Jeff Wincott, and they were even Michael Madsen was in a few, and they were just funny.
Oh, he would be a perfect Highlander.
He would.
He'd be the outsider type.
I would want him to be a hero for once, and like a king instead of the villain guy slicing people's ears off. But they were funny because, dude, like they would have they would just be kind of Lethal Weapon or Terminator knockoffs, but they were so funny because they had really cool car chases, and then they just go into slow motion. You'd be like, "That's the stupidest shit I've ever seen," but it's so awesome. And
Tom Sizemore, may he rest in peace, would be a good Highlander.
I'd throw my helmet at him like he does in Saving Private Ryan.
So who's the best?
If you get him on a leash, he'd be good.
Yeah. In his prime, he would be good.
Speaking of Private Ryan, Matt David. Think about it, man.
I guess
Jason Bourne is a fucking Highlander.
Gary Oldman.
Oh, well, then that'd be too crazy, but sure, why not?
It would fit though. Like he's so damn good.
Well, when is he not good?
I don't know. That's the hard part. Like, you cannot find, like, there are so many movies that actors and actresses have done over the years, and it's hard to really.
Don't do that.
That would be fun.
I'm taking over
so
a bank. Highlander after.
They're so hard to pick a bad movie out of their catalog because
just you wait, dude.
Somebody will be like, "Oh,
who's your least favorite actor?
Sucks so bad." My least favorite is
it's Brad Pitt, isn't it? I don't know. I don't mind Brad Pitt. He's in Troy style as a Highlander.
Mike. The only one that's popping in my head would be Mike. Oh, that number be one. No, Michael McManus.
Fuck, I know that name.
From Nip Tuck, I think.
No. Michael McManus is from Poltergeist.
Let me look him up.
Michael.
It's been a while since I've looked anybody up, so I'm just like, I know the name, but it's like...
I don't know. Michael Cudlitz? From Southland?
Oh, there's 2 versions.
I think you're thinking of Julian McMahon.
No. Well, yeah, Julian's one, but I'm thinking of Michael McManus from
It's a decent
Lex.
Dr. Doom. It's just the movies were bad.
No, Michael was in Lex. That's who I'm thinking of.
Oh. No,
yeah. That's perfect. So who is the best Highlander villain?
Oh, well, we were kind of indecisive. We kind of agreed eventually. It had to be. Oh, we had a bunch, and we had a lot of the recurring villains on the show. I'm sorry,
nah.
But I'll go.
For me, I'm gonna go with Jacob Kell.
Yeah, I bet that. I'm also cheating just because I love Bruce Payne and everything. He's just a fun.
I loved him in that.
Passenger 57, and then this, and you're like, whoa. The main villain on Highlander show that everyone needs to just study on how to make a compelling villain. Definitely would not the Kurgan, but he has a name and I can never get it. It was very specific, and he had just like incredible arc. He's a good voice actor. It would be Callus, as well as Xavier St. Cloud. He was also amazing just because he was played by the lead singer of Fine Young Cannibals.
Oh, great.
Drive me crazy. And he was badass. Like, I'm like, man, and same deal. Like, back in the message board days, like just like with B5, like they interacted so closely with the producers and they're like, we want him back. Finish out the story arc, and they're like, okay, we're bringing him back. For Twitter, message boards were ideal, and just telling people, hey, I'm watching your shit. I'm recording it after 6 o'clock every night.
And speaking of recording, when I was watching,
oh yeah,
I was watching Dark Side of the Ring, and
I promise we will do an episode of that. We've been overdue to talk documentaries.
I know. I'm trying to think of which territory it was.
I'll mark your territory.
I want to say it was the Southwest territories, maybe, that somebody was a part of. I can't remember the wrestler's name, but their wife, they had lost the network they were with had lost all the tapings, but the wife had been taping it since day one on VHS since day one back in the 70s.
She's his unofficial agent now. She's not just a great
and yeah, they lost. I forget what the hell the territory was, but
I'm looking forward
Midwest.
to watching this.
I think it was Midwest South. I think, and the one wife was videotaping all these matches on VHS back in the 80s and stuff, and it was everything. All their matches that showed up on TV, on VHS, she taped them religiously. And they're working to
restore it.
Yes. So you can watch all these old matches. He
should make a Patreon. So
yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. It's a lot of tapes from that time frame to go through.
Well, Mystery Science Theater, keep circulating those tapes. Missed that.
But yeah, I was surprised. Like, damn. And the best thing about TV back then that people today don't cherish, reruns. Because if you missed it the day it aired, you had one chance on the weekend to watch it again.
Gone to the end of time. And see, dude, you don't have the opportunity to be on good terms with your mom, which is a shame. But like, I have to explain, I'm on good terms. I get along with both my folks, but like
lucky.
I am a lucky bastard, but it got to where it's just like I sometimes actually explain to her, you know, my father gets it because he's a music buff. Like, I'm like, so why did they never release this show on DVD? I'm like, it's never gonna be released. Oh, why'd you say that? Because the network execs always hated it secretly, and they want to not acknowledge that part of the past. Yeah, there's music rights, so until someone forks over the bill, they're not getting it remastered.
And it's really sad too. Like today's culture of TV
is all gone.
Yes, and you're lucky if you can find a website that's streaming it.
Archive.
I got lucky with Extreme Ghostbusters and Third Watch. I got Extreme Ghostbusters and Third Watch off of Frostfire.
So much stuff I wish we could just digitally put into a cloud and be like,
word. Like I have, because there was so much shit I watched as a kid, and most of it barely got a season 1 DVD release, much less an episode.
B5, same deal. Like Warner Brothers famously hated anything that was on that network. They're just like, this sucks. Who watches this? We did. Okay.
Like, I remember when B5 came out originally, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, fuck this shit. I love Trek. And then decades later, 2010s, I saw it and I was like, all right, I'll buy season 1, see how it goes. And I was hooked. Well, just fucking hooked. And then the next month, I bought season 2, and so on and so forth. And I got the movie.
I still got the DVDs just for the hysterical bloopers and commentary tracks. I'll probably never go for the actual episodes themselves. I got the TV versions that are on Voodoo, Walmart Network, Prime. Yeah. Well, not Prime. Prime has just the DVDs digitally, but like it looks so good on the Walmart versions. Everyone should get those versions.
Yeah, I got the. I want to get it on Blu-ray. I'm just lazy, but
You're not lazy. You're fine.
Man, I've watched B5 twice in my whole life. Buy it from movie to finale.
I love it all. Even the episodes everyone hates, I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah, like I don't have a problem with the show whatsoever. I never did. I loved it. I watched it originally, just seasons 1 through 5, then the movies. Then I found out there was a chronological order, and then I watched it in chrono order. And man, that chrono order made that finale hit so fucking harder. And I was bawling even harder than I thought I was gonna do. I was like, no,
it's sad shit, dude.
It is, and it's one of those things.
Everyone's distracted by how it looks. I'm like, see,
it's like, dude, you are literally seeing history being made, and you have Delenn, you have Sheridan, and it's their last time together.
Rest in peace, Delenn, actress. Oh man,
yeah, great. Definitely. And it's wild because back then, having the protagonist die, that was a rarity. You never had that. They always survived somehow. But having Sheridan written off like that and just killed, and it's like his time is up. Like, no, it can't be up. That's impossible. No. And then B5 blowing up too. That hurt the worst. I was like, no, why are you blowing the station up? Fuck. And that hurts so goddamn hard. Because you have to watch the last 2 movies before the series finale. And it hits so hard. And it really, it's, I can't explain it. You have to watch it chronologically to really
Even my sister, who doesn't care for it, would watch it just because there was some interesting character interactions.
Like, you have to watch, like, if you're listening to this, you have to watch Babylon 5 in chronological order. Just go into it, no expectations, and just watch it from the first movie to the series finale, and you will not be disappointed. I promise you, you will be so grateful that you watched it and enjoyed it without having expectations. I swear to fucking God, you will love it. And then if you want more, there's comics for it, there's books for it, there are RPG books, there's a cookbook. A fucking cookbook. It's awesome. But yeah, I wish Highlander had a cookbook. That'd be fun. Shit, that'd be perfect. That would be absolutely goddamn perfect. There can be only one cook.
It better not be Steven Seagal.
Oh, ew.
You know, one of those idiots would have been like, he needs to be.
Fuck that noise. I love it. I love Mad TV's parody with him. Fucking Will Sasso.
Yeah, Will Sasso was amazing.
God, I love that motherfucker
they
so
should do,
much.
I always joked how they should do like action star parodies, but have the portrayers together. Like they should have Daryl Hammond as Sean Connery, Sasso as Seagal, and you could have Jay Farrow as Denzel or Wesley Snipes, or both. Perfect.
Yeah.
There's a few others who have done hysterical ones. They could do the Simpsons version of Charles Bronson. I'm going to kill Emmett.
Sarah Paulson.
Yeah, just
she would be interesting as a Highlander.
Yeah.
No.
I'm listening.
She was on American Horror Story. Oh God, you didn't see American Horror Story.
I don't like that show. It's not scary.
And this is coming from somebody who's read what all kinds of shit, and you're scared of horror.
I'm not scared of horror, but
You big baby.
I don't find it entertaining. It's just lame, dull, and dog water, atrocious acting, especially by Gaga. And I just don't like Ryan Murphy in general. That's the same dude who did Nip Tuck and Glee and 911 shows. Fuck that shit. I will give you, yes, parts of the OJ and some of the other true crime stuff was interesting, but other than that, dude, like, I hear the dude's a prick.
I don't care about him. I care about the shows. Like American Horror Story is a great anthology series.
I love anthologies, but I don't think it's a good anthology. Like, it just doesn't hold its own ground. I don't know. I think it's just that after all the buildup, they don't really build up to a worthwhile conclusion. Everyone's just distracted by, oh, how good Jessica Lange is. I'm like, I know. I've been watching movies for years. I know she's good. I like Dylan McDermott, but
yeah, like season 1 was great. I love that because that was a hell of a plot twist. I didn't expect that. I know, you sold him all the way.
The one with
it doesn't know what it wants to be.
It knows what it wants to be. It's just full of shit. Like the Bella Thorne cameo was pretty lame, but then the Michael Chiklis season, especially, was just like.
Freak Show was interesting. That was the one I didn't see until years later. I was like, oh, okay, this is really good. Because I missed it because I was busy or I just forgot about it altogether. What else was there? Oh, John Delancey would be a great Highlander. Easy. Way too fucking easy. Because he's a monologue specialist.
Well, he could monologue me to sleep.
Definitely.
I mean that in a bad way. Boring.
How dare you talk bad about Q?
Hey, at least I like all versions of the Outer Limits and Twilight Zone. And Tales from the Crypt. Oh, really?
Yeah, they're horrible. They're trash. They don't know anything good. Bunch of woke propaganda from the 80s and 2000s.
Don't you dare.
Look at that.
The day Oreo became
throne of action bullshit TV.
The day Oreo became an alt-right gunman.
I need to go find me a gun now.
Everything is different than me. I don't like it.
Where's Nerf at? Why are you giving me store brand Nerf?
Trump, keep tooting your horn. Fucking prick.
Beep, beep.
Now, if they do a Highlander anthology, I will watch the shit out of it. If they do Altered Carbon follow-up, that'd be great. That'd be the best thing since Outer Limits.
I would love an anthology for Highlander. Fuck.
But Tales from the Crypt is where it's at. I'm sorry.
that shit's trash too. God. Bunch of necrophilia.
Not on that show. I don't know what you're watching. I also don't want to know because it's probably gonna be Rule 34 and some other dog shit that I'm like, this can't be real. And if it is,
Rule 64, Tales from the Crypt.
64. Well, how do we get 69?
Never.
If you good, because I don't want to. If you want to follow us, you can follow the Drake and Saga on Twitter. He will not respond to you. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram under Jacked Up Review Show. You can. We'll keep pimping out our socials. I love how you just went all Silent Bob. Not Silent Bob, Jay.
You can find me on YouTube under
fucking asshole.
You can find me on
and
YouTube.
that's his URL. You fucking ass.
Under Oreo Brewer.
If you want, the domain's available.
Oh God! And then you can find me on Wattpad under Immortal Beloved 89 if you want to read my fanfics or my poetry or whatever the hell interests
It's
you.
Watt, not WAP. No,
I don't care.
Well, I'm just giving a disclaimer so they don't
Watt.
I'm just making sure they have the address so they don't type up the Cardi B song. Wop wop.
Water.
Whopper. Cheeseburger. If any of this made sense, send us some hate mail. Love to get your bullshit so we can read it on the air and tell you what piece of shit you are.
I did that shit to somebody on YouTube already because they complained about my feet being in the video. I'm like, all right, smart ass, I got your number. So I made a bid.
I got your number.
And then made a shout out bid, and I was like, "Hey, he liked my feet." And then I went and was like, "Yeah, he likes my feet so much because I got cerebral palsy and I had ankle surgery on them, and I have to crack my toes every couple hours because they're stiff and they're curved to the right and left."
Jesus.
Damn, it sucks.
I bet.
Like,
I don't know anyone who's cool with it. It's not there. It's fine.
But I didn't hear back from the motherfucker, so he learned his lesson. Some people just don't know when to fuck off. That's funny.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, fuck me.
Patrick Starr as a Highlander. There can be only one. SpongeBob.
It can be animated, just not in that style.
Especially that. Oh, it'd be so beautiful.
Just save it for the OnlyFans.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening. It's a jacked up